mean, I found out the difference.
What's the difference between sorbet and the other one that we were talking about?
Yeah. See, the thing is I've always heard it pronounced sherbet.
Sherbet.
But it's sherbet.
No R.
Yeah, there's no second
Just a
R.
little tidbit for you.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So basically, this sorbet doesn't have any dairy, but sherbet does. That's it.
Wild stuff. Hello, this is The Road to Knowhere with
Daniel
and Ryan.
Today's episode is a special episode. Definitely something that Ryan's been wanting to talk about for a little while at this point. And I'm not really sure how it came about, but why don't you tell us about today's subject?
It's a very long story.
Is it? Much like what we're about to talk about.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So a long time ago, I read a book called A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson, which detailed his trip along the Appalachian Trail. He didn't make it all the way, but he tried.
He died?
He tried.
Oh. Well, you said he didn't make it all the way. Did he?
He gave up.
Oh, okay. He's like, Jesus.
So 5 to 7.
How did he write a book?
He went back and he lost it in pieces, but then he gave up again.
Wow.
But he had fun. Isn't that what matters?
That is definitely what matters at the end of the day.
Turns out, what he was trying to walk wasn't even the entire trail as it stands now.
Oh. Wait, so he didn't even complete.
Well, he didn't complete the base
He
trail.
didn't complete what he thought was the total trail?
No.
And then he found out that the actual trail is...
To be honest, I don't know if he found that out. I found that out. I read another
You
book.
need to write an email to Mr. Bryson.
I read another book by Robert Moore called On Trails. And it details the Appalachian Trail, among other trails. And in it, he explains that there is a movement to extend the Appalachian Trail through Canada and I think Greenland and Iceland, and then down through Europe.
Jeez.
And then through Africa, and then potentially go down through the rest of the United States where it ends in Georgia, and down into South America, and all through there.
Now, how is that possible?
Apparently, the Appalachian Mountains, well, they're the remnants of tectonic shift, because that's where the different continents all used to be together.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And those mountains used to be tall, I think, if not taller than the Alps. But now they're not. But the remnants are still there throughout the other continents. So, but there's an organization called the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, which is pushing to extend the trail beyond its current limits to follow the rest of the remnants of the ridge.
And right now, the Appalachian Trail is just limited to the Americas, North America, or does it at all extend down into south?
Traditionally, it extends from Georgia and right up to Mount Katahdin in Maine. But they have developed an extended trail up through Canada, the East Coast to Newfoundland, and then kind of through Greenland and Iceland, and then down through Europe, and I think currently it ends in Morocco. But in the book that I read, they were still trying to figure out the rest of the route through Morocco.
So right now, as it stands, it ends in Morocco.
That's the last I've heard.
But that's like the official accepted part of the actual trail?
I think the purists still consider the
Yeah.
real trail to be Georgia to Maine, but for those who want to venture farther, and will accept that there's, I mean, a lot of the people, they just want more trail to walk on. So.
That's true. Yeah, it's just my thought process is that if, you know, there already are people who do, or like, you know, if it was the vast majority that do accept that it, you know, goes to Morocco, then it's probably not that difficult to then, do what that organization is trying to do and then extend it to, the rest of those continents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's really crazy to me. So basically back when, we had one supercontinent, is that the idea that, this mountain range, this trail extended, through all this area, but then when it broke apart?
Well, the mountain range did. The trail is a recent development that was built. The trail was built in the 20th century mostly, but the mountain range was, yes, part of the original supercontinent. It was a massive mountain range on par with the Alps.
Wow. Wild stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah.
They call it the International Appalachian Trail. So it's not, I think that was a way to get around the purists who consider the original Appalachian Trail the real trail.
I see.
And it extends from Mount Katahdin in Maine through New Brunswick, through the Gaspé Peninsula of Quebec, and into over a ferry to Newfoundland, and then to the easternmost point of the Appalachian Mountains in Belle Isle, Newfoundland, and Labrador. And then the European, so they found, I guess, some scientists have found geologic evidence that the Appalachian Mountains, some mountains in Europe and the Anti-Atlas Mountains in North Africa are all parts of the same mountain range called the Central Pangaean Mountains, which would lead into Pangaea.
Yeah.
And the range was made when some minor supercontinents collided to form Pangaea 250 million years ago.
250 million years ago.
250 million.
It does seem crazy to me that, such a thing can exist.
I mean,
really, when I think of the scale of, the Appalachian Trail or even, the mountain ranges, ones that still, not even just the Appalachian Mountains, but even, as you're saying, the Alps or anything like that, just when you look at the sheer size and scale of what's naturally possible, I don't know, it does tend to I get overwhelmed quite quickly just trying to imagine it. I think that's something that, is just one of the most interesting parts about nature is, it's just operates a lot of, outside of what you think is possible usually.
Yes, on a macro scale.
On a macro scale.
As well as micro. Can you imagine what a city would be like if certain buildings all sat on separate tectonic plates, mini ones, and throughout the day they just shifted? How would you plan your day?
I don't know. I mean, you'd probably need some kind of an app, find my work. Yeah.
You leave for work and you walk there because it's on the plate next to you, right?
Yeah.
And then you walk out of work in the afternoon, you haven't been paying attention. It's across town. But you walk to work because, I'll just walk home.
Now you don't have your car.
Yeah. What do? Use public transport on a tectonic shift? I don't think so.
It's hardly reliable without.
It would drive me to fall through the plates. Hot magma.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd probably need some kind of a, your address would be located to the actual plate itself.
Like a city block.
Yeah, plate C24. Yeah. And then unit 12.
Did you know? I heard this on the radio recently, and on TV as well, and on the web as well. It's a recent,
basically everywhere.
It's a recent news item. Mars does not have tectonic plates, and scientists captured audio of a grinding noise, I guess, and they theorize it's because that Mars is cooling because it can't be shifting because Mars doesn't have tectonic plates. So they think that it's the Earth, the planet cooling.
Interesting. And that's causing grinding.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get an audio clip of the. Yeah, it's the sound of Martian earthquakes, but typically on Earth, earthquakes are tectonic shift. If I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah.
But scientists theorize that it is Mars cooling That part is a robotic arm.
Oh.
This was the quake. So the first part's the wind, and the second part's the quake. It's the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the quake.
That's spooky.
Almost as if there's ghosts on Mars.
There's ghosts.
Are there ghosts on Mars? Is such a thing possible?
I mean, first we have to...
That's the robotic arm. Not to be spooky.
First we have to think about ghosts.
And ghost accessories.
Do you believe in ghosts? Do you have any ghost stories? Like anything that, you know, you feel like you've ever had, like an encounter or an experience?
I do. But it's not going to sound spooky to you.
Wow. It might.
I was cleaning a room in my basement.
Mm.
And I had 2 large boxes and a sheaf of papers. And I was shifting things around. I piled one box on top of the other box. I had my papers somewhere else. And then I was looking for the papers later. I couldn't find them. I'm moving the boxes. I don't know why. But there they are in between the boxes.
So you put the papers down somewhere else. And then you went to move the boxes. And then you found the papers in between the boxes.
And that was what I remembered. Not spooky, is it?
You tell ghost stories for it to be the opposite of spooky. Just, think about that. How'd that happen? Yeah.
Science can't explain it.
It's true.
Have you experienced ghosts?
I can't say I have personally. But like, because have you ever been in, like, you know, say school after hours?
Have I been in?
It's because like there were a few times where even back into, you know, high school, I would be in the building either, you know, after school's all done and over, and, you know, the teachers have long gone, and I don't know, there's just this sort of a strange, like, presence that you feel from, I don't know, maybe it's just a natural instinct just because everything is just really empty, and that's not
like you're not alone.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like everything's empty, but you know that there should be people.
Yeah.
Maybe it plays some kind of tricks on you. I'm not sure, but you always feel this sort of presence, like something is watching you.
I used to get that a lot when I would go into the basement at home.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. It happens a lot in basements, cellars even. Actually, I had a friend who had a house. She rented out a house. I can't remember the exact street name, but it's sort of like right off of Albert, you know?
I don't know that. But I don't know roads.
Sorry to specify. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. In an older part of town. And the house itself was actually pretty old. But interestingly enough, it had a basement.
No way.
Huh?
No way.
Yeah, I know, right? Basements? Crazy. But this basement was interesting because it was like proper old school basement. Like there was no finishing. There was no insulation. Yeah, it was just like stone or cement. And it stretched, like it went deep and far. There was like hallways to it, but entirely just cement hallways with no lights or anything like that. That would just go into other parts of room. There was one room with like a big stone basin in it that I don't know what was for. There wasn't any running water or anything to it. It was very, very spooky. Yeah. And but that was pretty sweet as well. It was like it was kind of cool to see that in real life. But yeah, no, definitely not somewhere I'd want to spend the night.
Have you ever thought of doing ghost hunting?
I have. I mean, as much as like, you know, like that idea like kind of terrifies me. Yeah. Even though I'm sure, you know, like the skeptic in me is very confident that, you know, nothing's going to happen. But and I think that's part of the reason why I'd like to go is I'd like to be proven wrong. Right. I think I'd like to actually encounter something and have one of those unique experiences.
But on the other hand, yeah, maybe I don't cut back. I enjoy life.
Yeah. I like living.
Living accessories.
And living accessories, which, by the way, all of them.
Several, anyway.
Several. At least 2. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I want to do it.
Yeah. Have you thought about, like, specifically what kind of, place you'd like to go to? Like, if you'd like to do a house, a prison, a hospital or something or whatever?
Hospital is like a level 5 haunt.
Yeah, a level 5. How many levels are there? What's the max level?
Several, anyway.
Oh, I see.
But I think an old house. Although that's when you can get some pretty demented things in there too. Entities.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
No asylums.
No asylums.
Maybe a prison. Maybe like a low security prison.
Low security. Really like white collar crime prison.
Like embezzling money.
Yeah.
That sort of things of that nature.
Exactly. That's true. It's probably a lot less stuff. Ghosts come in and be like, do my taxes.
Give me your money.
Give me your money, please. Invest. Invest in my startup. I'd want to go to like that. I don't know if it's actually. I don't think it's actually called the Overlook Hotel, or it might actually be called the Overlook.
No, it's not. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but because it was based on a real hotel.
Yeah,
it's got some interesting stories from there. I'd like to go see that.
I would really like to go there. I've always also wanted to do a haunted tour of New England in the fall around Halloween. Stay in different hotels that are known to be haunted. Oh yeah, for like a week or 2.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think it'd be interesting to do like sort of that kind of stuff.
Spiders.
that kind of stuff in like older parts of the world, like Europe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like no one ever talks about haunted houses and things like that in China, but they've probably pretty old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that'd be very interesting. Just something like really, really ancient.
In Japan, but you got things like The Grudge. You got to be careful.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. I think they're remaking that movie actually.
I haven't seen it
again.
See, that's the thing. Horror movies are not for me.
Yeah,
but I would do ghost hunting.
What about like horror video games? Play horror video games? I struggle.
I played VR Silent Hill.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah, there was a VR version. I think
I did not
last long.
It's not for me.
Yeah. I definitely try to sometimes, but depending on the game, like I'll tap out very quickly.
I think the thing about ghost hunting is with a video game, something's going to happen. With a movie, something's going to happen. With true. Actual ghost hunting, you're hoping both ways, but
and also too, there are limitations, right? Like in a video game, right? Even though oddly enough, it does sound funny, it's a video game, so anything should be possible. But in a video game, horror video games specifically, right? Like they'll limit all of your tools, right?
Yeah.
There are many of these horror games where you can't fight.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you can't fight or you can't run. You just kind of have to hide.
Like if you're going ghost hunting in real life, you bring out an iron bar. You're not stupid.
Yeah. An iron bar. Yeah. Some table salt. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you can
a vacuum.
A vacuum even, I think is what they used in Ghostbusters.
Luigi anyway.
Yeah. Luigi did that. That's true. Yeah. Super Mario is my Bible. Yeah. I struggle with horror video games because of that. Because in real life, I feel very confident, even though maybe that's not correct.
Yeah.
I feel like I have more options.
I think it's the doubt. You sort of are hoping both ways, but you still have that doubt. Like it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Everything's going to.
And when it does, that's when your character is tested.
Yeah, and you know what? You got an episode for the podcast.
Yeah.
Isn't that all what it's for?
Stay tuned for our ghost hunting podcast.
Yeah, our ghost hunting podcast. We'll podcast live from
Satan's Den,
Nebraska. I don't know if that's a real place.
Would you do a Ouija board?
I have actually.
Oh, I didn't know I was sitting here with someone harboring a demon.
Well, see, this is kind of interesting because a lot of the times, like I remember going to see that last movie that came out. I think it was just called Ouija.
Or Ouija.
Ouija. Yeah, I don't know why we say Ouija. It's really not. I don't think it's even pronounced that way by the creator. I don't know why we say Ouija. Anyways, Ouija, whatever. Going to see that movie with my girlfriend, and afterwards talking to her, and I asked her, would you ever do something like that? And she said, hell no.
It's a natural response.
Natural response. She said, what about you? I was like, well, I already have. And she was like, yeah, exactly. Threw up. So first of all, when I did it, I didn't know any of the sort of the history of it, but I'll get to that later. But I just tried it, and I was living out in the suburbs. This is way back then, high school.
Yeah, nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do other than contact demons and
contract
demon diseases.
Transmitted
diseases. We went into the basement because I did this with my girlfriend at the time, different girlfriend, and
we'll delve into that later.
Yeah, we'll delve into that later. See what went wrong. So we went down into the basement. I had the board. I can't remember where we got it, to be honest. So we had the lights off, everything. Did the candles, the whole 9 yards, and and set it down, and we just promised each other that we'd be
civil
and not try to mess about with it and force move it just to try to mess with the other person, just to actually see if something would actually happen, because that's what we were genuinely looking for. And nothing did. We felt some slight movements of the cup or the I don't know what you call it, the plank or whatever it is,
the eye. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually don't know what it's called. I forget. I knew, but So we felt some slight movement on that, but it didn't actually sort of really go anywhere that far. And I guess at the end of the day, I was a little. I don't know if I was disappointed or if I was probably relieved. Maybe that nothing happened.
It's called a planchette.
Planchette. There you go.
For a little plank.
Yeah, there you go. It's a plank. And so nothing ended up happening. And, that was many, many years ago, and I haven't had any ghostly encounters since. So I don't think we channeled anything that night.
Yeah. Haven't noticed any demonic presence.
No.
Because that's what you got to be careful about.
That's
the Ouija board.
Yeah.
It's the demons.
They told me that Satan would be attractive.
Lordy.
Would you ever do
it? Ouija board. Oof.
Honestly, it's like you're very concerned until you realize that nothing.
It's like the Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that. Like we did that at camp and like school. It was like a thing to do. And I remember doing that at camp, and that was sort of the counselor's idea. It's like, why don't all the kids do Bloody Mary, go into you have like little groups that go into the bathroom or whatever and do it there. And there would be a counselor hidden.
Oh,
waiting.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So you would do it and you'd be like, oh, I guess nothing happened. And then out of nowhere, some dude with a mask on would burst out of the showers or whatever and just run you down. And that was probably the most terrified I've ever been.
I feel like that would be scarring. And also, I don't want to stop things and, interrupt you, but you've cussed. This is a Christian podcast.
My apologies. I will put $1 in the swear jar after the podcast.
This is not a Christian podcast.
This is not a Christian podcast, unfortunately. Probably should make it a Christian. Next one will be a Christian.
Next week, Christian.
Lord. The whale that ate Jonah. Was it Jonah?
It was.
It was. Could such a thing conceivably exist? What are whales?
We're going to bust this myth.
Yeah, I mean, I've never...
You ever seen a whale?
I mean, I have not. Only in videos.
Yeah.
That could be fake. CG's pretty good today. You know?
Perspective. It could... The whale might not be as big as they're even making it out to be, if it is real at all.
That's very true. It could be forced perspective.
Yeah.
It could be, tricks of the camera.
Could fit in the palm of your hand.
It could fit in the palm, like the North American house hippo.
Exactly like the North American house hippo.
Yeah.
What was the purpose behind that
Commercial?
yeah.
The North American house? I think it was something to do with like preserving nature. I think it was just some sort of like PSA about like poaching.
Believing. Oh, it was about believing what you see on TV.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. Yeah.
Because they made it out to look really real.
Yeah.
High quality effects.
It was very high quality at the time. It probably doesn't stand up today, but that thing looks so cute.
Yeah.
I wanted one.
I can't remember if I wanted one or if I was spooked by it.
Definitely wanted one. Those things were adorable. Yeah.
Apparently, they're the most vicious animal.
They are.
They say
the number one deaths caused by animal attack in those parts of the world are all caused by hippos.
Yeah, I was reading a thing recently that was about how to deal with certain animals in different situations. And they had like certain ones where if you're in the water, this is what you do, or if you're on land, this is what you do. And
okay.
Basically, if you're in the water with a hippo,
you're screwed.
You swim and you pray.
Yeah.
You pray they don't see you.
Yeah.
That's it.
And if you're on land?
I don't remember.
I'm sure it's the same.
Probably similar.
I'm sure it's the same. Yeah. Because I don't even think climbing a tree will help. It'll probably knock that thing down. I don't even know, depending on the tree. But yeah, no, vicious animals, but kind of cute.
Yeah. If they were, I think anything made smaller can be cute.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, Vsauce did a very interesting video about that. I think it probably was just on the subject of cuteness.
Yeah.
Like what makes cuteness.
There's a size ratio.
Yeah, there is a size ratio actually. Because he has this example of a hammer. So you look at a hammer, it's just a regular hammer. Then you start shrinking that down into the little tiny thing. Oh, the little cute hammer. Yeah, exactly right. So it's there is a size ratio to that, which is really quite funny. It's basically shrink anything and it'll become cute.
On the other hand, if you grow something, it's already cute.
Not so cute.
I don't know. Have you ever seen, a guinea pig, right?
Yeah.
Heard of a capybara?
Yeah.
Basically just a giant guinea pig.
Basically, yeah. I suppose that's true.
Calmest animals. And get along with anything.
Yeah, they do. They do. But I mean, if you grow that capybara even bigger.
Well, have you seen the South Park episode with the giant guinea pigs?
No, I have not.
Terrorizes lions.
And that's what capybaras would do.
No, capybaras, they're very calm. I think they're calmer than guinea pigs.
I don't know, man.
Just watch the videos.
I don't know, man. I mean, I've seen videos of capybaras. Don't get me wrong. Just saying, it might not be cute. Certainly, a capybara the size of a building.
I mean, you probably. I don't think it would be vicious. I think you would want to not have it step on you.
Sure, certainly. But would you still consider it cute? I don't think so.
Maybe it's trying to get around the buildings and it's just hunching around. It's like, what do I even do? It's kind of cute. Godzilla. It's kind of cute. That laser. It's just darling.
Just darling. Look at those colors. Gorgeous.
What's his laser made of?
His laser?
Yeah.
What's it made of?
Yeah.
Ancient.
He's a dragon. I would assume he breathes fire.
He's not a
but it's
dragon.
like a pure beam.
He's not a dragon.
He's a dinosaur.
He's a dinosaur.
Which is a dragon. I mean, in the Middle Ages, they didn't have real dragons. So they based them on dinosaurs. But I mean, it's the same idea. You see a dinosaur walking around by your castle. You're like, I'm going to call that a dragon. Because they didn't have science back then.
Yeah, but maybe I'll call it a dinosaur.
But they didn't have the science.
So maybe
How would they know it's a
maybe I
dinosaur?
call it not a dragon. What if I'm around before dragons were a thing?
Well, I think dinosaurs came after dragons.
Well, okay. The term, yes, but I mean the actual, like, like say before all those terms, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just like, wait, what is your point?
Godzilla's ray.
Yeah,
What's it made of?
magic.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
I don't know that they ever actually explain that.
It's just a random light beam that comes out of
Yeah.
a creature.
I mean, some animals do create electricity, just as
Yeah. But do they emit a laser
not that I know of.
that can destroy things?
Not that I know of. But it could have just, that's what I mean, is like it could just be that
Lightning.
multiplied by,
Maybe.
11.
Perhaps.
I used to have you ever heard of Uncle Ben's Bathroom Reader?
It sounds familiar.
It's a series of books, and they have a ton of different subject matters usually, but some of them are just sort of collections. And they're just a collection of facts. Just facts and interesting stories.
I may have had one about Alberta specifically.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely possible. They have lots of different kinds. The one that I had, like, literally, it was like, there was a whole book to it of, like, dedicated stories and facts and whatnot of, following a sequential order and in different subject matter. At the bottom on each page, there was a fact, just a pure fact, just but one sentence long. And sometimes it made what it said made me want to, like, know more. Like, I wish there was more context. It was
Probably like this show.
Yeah, definitely like this show. Because there was one line of the page I specifically remember that said, ancient Egyptians used crocodile dung as a contraceptive.
A lot of questions to that one.
Yeah. Mostly how?
How did they acquire it? Why would they do that?
Who thought of it? How did they acquire it?
How is it applied?
How is it applied? It's really my big one.
How effective was it?
How effective was it? How do we know?
Why are we still not using it?
Were there hieroglyphs? I don't know. And that one, I think I will always be wondering.
Yeah, there's some questions,
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I could probably just Google it. But
Well, it comes up in the Google search.
wow, that's literally like one of the suggested things. Oh.
Yeah.
I
don't know if we...
Oh, boy. Why?
You want to take this one?
According to CBSNews.com, on a page titled 15 Most Bizarre Medical Treatments Ever, number 5 out of 17, I'm assuming because there's some extra, ads and photos, says this. Think condoms are a drag? In ancient Egypt, the contraceptive of choice was crocodile dung. Dried dung was inserted into the vagina, the idea being that it would soften as it reached body temperature to form an impenetrable barrier.
Shield.
A shield, basically. Yes. Other contraceptive pessaries is the term. I believe that's probably some sort of, actual term for this kind of contraceptive. Used back in the day included tree sap, lemon halves, cotton, wool, sea sponges, and elephant dung.
I'm also seeing honey.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too. Tree sap, honey.
And mercury.
Really?
It was a...
Ancient Egyptians used mercury.
No, women in China 4,000 years ago drank mercury to prevent pregnancy.
Jesus. I mean, yeah, that would probably work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way.
In a way. You just poison your body and it can't do anything.
Also, Greek man named Serenus swore by the method of jumping backwards 7 times, the woman,
Jumping backward, like doing a backflip or jumping backwards?
The woman would jump backwards 7 times after sex, rather than lying in bed.
Well, I mean, it is a thing that if you do lie in bed with your legs up, as the woman, if she does do that after, that it does slightly increase the chance of pregnancy. So I suppose mainly the takeaway should have been don't lay down. I don't know how much the jumping really helps.
I mean,
but hey, it worked. Yeah. I suppose probably a little bit. Yikes! Well, that was
What are the other top medical weird treatments?
Okay, so let's go to the next one here. So 6 out of 17. Let's see. Clysters? This is called clysters. Clysters, the archaic word for enemas.
Oh.
Those are thought to have been used since ancient times. They were particularly fashionable from the 17th through the 19th centuries. Wealthy people used them to treat constipation, which enemas can help with, as well as a variety of other complaints for which they are useless.
Huh.
Yeah. So it looks as though you'd mix some warm water, salt, baking soda, or soap. Some people added random stuff: coffee, herbs, honey, chamomile.
That'll get you moving.
I mean, you probably should have just drank the coffee.
Yeah.
That'd do the job.
Yeah, I would say so. Or a laxative.
A laxative.
I mean, that's essentially what it is.
That's basically what it is. Yeah, so that's
okay.
Cool. That's
good to know, just in case.
Well, it would appear that. Wow. Okay. Okay. So this is a remedy for cuts, specifically rapier wounds. So this was around in the 17th. Rapier.
Oh.
The 17th century. So basically, you would create a powder, and the powder was made of earthworms, pig's brains, iron oxide, rust, and bits of mummified corpses.
Oh.
Yeah. So you would grind those into a powder, and then you would apply it. Now,
it doesn't sound very good.
Where do you think you'd apply it?
An enema.
If it's a powder for the rapier wound, where would you put it?
On the wound?
On the wound, right? Yeah, no. You'd put this on the weapon that cut you. And it would heal the wound via a process called sympathetic magic.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry. I am so
Would you cut yourself again with the rapier?
No. You just leave it on the weapon or whatever it was that cut you. And yeah, hopefully your wound would heal eventually.
Or not.
Or not at all, and you die. If not, no. The magic wasn't strong enough. I'm sorry.
If you're interested, you should check out this article.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
some weird medical
dead mouse paste. Okay, so there's some interesting stuff in this.
I wonder, 100 years from now, what are we going to be looking back on and saying, what were
they thinking?
Vaccines?
Don't they know
they cause autism? Oh.
Lord,
I mean, think about it. Either way, people are going to be looking back on our time and thinking, what were they thinking?
I mean, yes, that's very true, right? About a lot of things, and probably a lot of medicine as well.
Yeah.
But hopefully over time we just start making fewer and fewer mistakes.
Yeah, ideally. Our robot overlords, orderlies.
Our
robot overlord orderlies present us with the proper medicine.
So kind of our robot overlords.
So what do we start with?
Dude, ancient Egyptians are messed up.
Yeah. It's probably all the sand.
You would make another not a paste out of ground up dead mouse and apply it.
More corpses.
Yeah, apply it to your wounds.
But directly to your wound.
Directly to your, they at least had that part down.
This was
Now-
like a scientific advancement.
Yeah. Then again, maybe not.
Well-
Because you probably get infected.
Yeah. Which one came first?
Which one came first? Which one's the smarter idea?
Can we do get a scientific analysis of which one was more effective?
Oh, dear Lord. We started with the Appalachian Trail.
Well, we start with the Appalachian Trail, tectonic plate cities, possibly the future of cities, modular, got into ghosts somehow, Ouija boards. How did we get to medicine?
I don't know.
This has been the latest episode of The Road to Nowhere. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.